Hey everybody, it's Jesse back here. So if any of you saw my last two live videos, you'll see that it looked like I lost, I launched this AI system and it immediately lost $700. I've told the story so many times, I don't really need to tell it again, but the good thing is I didn't lose the money. It was actually the program that we built that made sure that didn't happen. And again, really, it was just misreading the variable that it was getting back. So it was realistically, none of the money was ever at risk. And that's actually been a really important part the entire time that I've been paying attention to. So that confusion is what this video is about. So the last 3 days have basically been the most chaotic, frustrating, some of the most sleep-deprived days that I've ever had, and done voluntarily, let's put it that way. So let me just tell you kind of how it went. I built the Quant Lab. I built this AI trading system, and still building. This is not a bot that follows signals that somebody made. I mean, I built this whole thing from scratch. The strategies, the execution engine, the AI director that manages risk. That AI director has a supervisor. So yes, there's a lot of agents that are running in the background to make sure a lot of the things that aren't supposed to go wrong don't. But anyway, so the strategies, the execution engine, the AI director that manages all the risk, the dashboard, I built everything. This runs on my virtual machine, which is just a VPS, a server. So the idea is not that difficult. I'm running 100 agents. I originally started with 80 and I have 4 teams. However, that has expanded to 100 because the original design excluded some time frames and I had to add those in. So it's still a work in progress, but we'll go over all that. So like I said, the idea is very simple. Instead of running one strategy, we run 100. We let the strategies compete. Things are working right now. We bet on those. The ones that aren't working, they get less capital or no capital. That's the reality of it. So on paper, this is on paper trading. A lot of this is paper. You're seeing the numbers. Those are paper trading numbers. So this thing turned $1,000 into $95,000 in a few days. And I know it sounds crazy and all that stuff, but I've watched that part happen. That part is real. That part didn't have a hiccup. So that was fantastic to see. I have all the records, the receipts. I even have them delivered to a Slack feed, so I have that record. So it's fantastic to know that the system is working. And then, like I said, when I funded this with real money is when we started having the problems. So when I funded it, hit go, everything broke. Not the system. The system was perfectly fine. All the things I built to protect my money worked perfectly. But everything else around it broke. And at first it could really only watch. So it could only play along, and I couldn't short sell anything because of how Kraken handles certain pairs. So half of my strategies were firing off signals saying, you're going to make money, you're going to make money. And then they just hit a wall and nothing, they wouldn't do anything. So obviously fix that. That was one of the initial issues I had to fix. So then the strategies that got added last, so the fast ones, those 5-minute, 15-minute time frames, so they were getting completely ignored for the longest time. First they didn't exist, then they were getting ignored, and it turns out that the code that picks the candidates for the live orders was only looking at the top 20, which pushed some of the good ones out of the top 20. So we had to do some adjusting. So lots of issues because I can't short sell on Kraken in the United States. So I had to add TastyTrade. So I needed to trade the futures and Bitcoin and some gold futures, stuff like that. So in order to move that stuff around and utilize those instruments that Kraken doesn't have, I had to wire up TastyTrade, which means I need another whole entire account, have to move my money again. And when you move crypto, it's not the easiest thing all the time. You have to send it, blockchain, things like that. So I needed the TastyTrade. I transferred the money. The money arrived as Bitcoin because that's how Cash App sends it. And when, then I have to transfer it from Bitcoin back to US dollars so the trader can see it in there, grab it, and utilize it. And it costs a little bit more to work in TastyTrade because I'm running margin. So I had to put a little extra in there. So we have a different starting number as well. So like I said, transfer the money. Fortunately, Cash App transfers Bitcoin simply, so I just used that. And then I got everything ready for the first deposit. Boom, everything's in there. And then I find out that the margin was a lot higher than I expected. So originally, it looked like I was only going to have to cover $1,500. And then, boom, all of a sudden, market shifts. I need 80%. So I actually have to, I have to go higher. I have to have basically $3,500 in there to run a margin future buy or sell. So super important stuff. All things I didn't know. So I'm learning along the way. And here's the thing. Second deposit today, the larger one to push it up. It's Friday, 9:45 p.m. in Eastern time. Did the second deposit. This is the final step to kick it off. Literally, I redid all the code. Got the entire thing redone completely in the back end. The only final last thing is waiting for this deposit to clear. Already got the Bitcoin sent out. I got the hash receipt. Well, TastyTrade's account balance API has been down since shortly after they got my first deposit and credited it. And they're closed for the weekend until Monday. So as you can imagine, I'm absolutely losing my mind here right now. But here's what I keep coming back to. So every time something broke, I found it, fixed it, and the system got better. The candidate pool's bigger now. The Slack notifications are working really well. They tell me exactly which trades are live versus which ones are just paper, because there's we're only looking at the top 30 and I have 100 running. So there's 70 that may trigger a potential trade. But as I see those come through, I don't question it anymore. Hey, is it live or is it not? Now I know when it comes to Slack. So the AI director is reading the market. So right now it's showing ranging with ADX 19.7, which means it's being conservative, which is correct. So now the AI director has things to do. So from that information and from the volatility in the market, it does certain things to the system. And it learns recursively. So the paper account doesn't lie. It's got 8,000 closed trades, 44% win rate. Winners are 3 times the size of the losers. That's the key, right? Yesterday alone, the paper system made $66,000. Now, this all started with a $1,000 account 4 days ago. Paper money. There's a lot of factors in paper money that aren't in real money. When you enter with real money, you are part of the pool now. The pool size immediately changes when you enter it. It affects it. There's a lot of differences. So trust me, I've learned a lot in the last 3 days. So I'm not showing you all this stuff to, make you crazy, hype you up, all that stuff. I'm just showing you because once this deposit clears and TastyTrade comes back online, I think it's going to work. All the testing shows that it is. We're just waiting for the ability to make one margin call, repeatedly. That's what we need to do. We need to we need to be able to short sell repeatedly. And that's what the system's really designed to do. And that's what we're waiting for. So, like I said, here's where we're at. We got 100 strategies. We got 5 time frames, 2 brokers, 1 AI director besides me. I got a live public dashboard, so you guys can watch that as much as possible. I'm also keeping notes, and I have a wiki there, so I'm trying to be as public and open and honest as possible. So I did wake up and, it made profit, so I knew right off the bat today the system was working. So the first live Kraken orders already fired, closed, made 8 cents. That was the first thing this morning. It didn't matter. It worked. It proved that it worked. So as soon as the TastyTrade futures account comes, when it does, the system gets access and it is able to leverage the future contracts. And that's where a lot of our upside lives. That was the entire point of the structure. So haven't slept a whole lot in the last 3 days, but I've spent a little bit of money that I wasn't planning on spending, debugged a bunch of things, waited and waited and waited for Bitcoin to break out for the, in the evenings on the last 2 nights. And of course, I'd do it all over again if I had to. Because I know this thing's working. I know it's going to work. I've seen it work. The numbers are real. And I'm about to show you what this system can do, what this AI trading system can do when I take the full handcuffs off. So stay close, pay attention, and I'm just going to click around here a little bit so you guys can see what this stuff is. And anyone can visit here. This isn't the public page, but you can visit this and see all this stuff. So this is all what's going on. And I also have an agent running in the background that's building a trading view chart. And it will actually show some of the charting that's happening in the background. We have like stochastic models running, stuff like that. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it, y'all. I hope you subscribe. Hope you're watching. I'm excited. Whenever TastyTrade is ready to play, I'm ready. The system's ready. An agent is literally telling me every 3 minutes whether or not my money is ready to go or not. So as soon as it happens, I'm excited. I'll probably do another live once it goes down, but it could be Monday at this point. I'm just waiting for support to get back to me, and they're closed on the weekend. So for that's all for now. I'm signing off here from the Aegis lab, and wish me luck on this venture.